Please subscribe my channel. I remember the way she said it, not angry, not even annoyed. Just tired. Like someone closing a door they didn't plan to open again. We were already in bed, lights off, the quiet heavy in that way it only gets after midnight. I reached for her out of habit more than desire, a familiar motion built over years of marriage. She shifted slightly, just enough to break the contact, and leaned closer without turning toward me. Her voice was low, almost considerate. "Don't touch me tonight." No explanation. No apology. Just that sentence delivered like a final decision. I lay there staring into the dark, my hand suspended for a second longer than it should have been, then slowly pulling it back to my side. In that moment I told myself not to make it bigger than it was. I'd learned to do that. We all do. Work stress, exhaustion, hormones, moods, there was always a reasonable excuse waiting if you wanted one. I told myself marriage wasn't supposed to be passionate every night. I told myself consistency mattered more than intensity. I told myself love wasn't measured in touch. But the truth was this wasn't new. It hadn't started that night. It had been building quietly for years, settling into the spaces between us where affection used to live. The sighs when I leaned in. The stiff shoulders. The way she'd check her phone the second we sat together on the couch. This was just the first time she said it out loud. I didn't argue. I didn't ask why. I didn't roll over dramatically or storm out. I simply lay there, listening to her breathing even out as she fell asleep faster than I could. That hurt more than the words. Sleep came easily to her. To me, the ceiling became a screen replaying moments I'd ignored. Birthdays where my effort felt invisible. Compliments that earned polite nods instead of smiles. The slow realization that I was dependable but not desired. Useful but not wanted. I wasn't angry. I was clear. Clarity is quieter than rage, but it cuts deeper. By morning the house felt different. Not hostile. Just empty, even with her moving around in it. She was already up when I came into the kitchen, dressed for work, scrolling through her phone with a mug of coffee in her hand. She looked up briefly and said good morning like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't drawn a line the night before and stepped cleanly over it. I watched her for a moment, really watched her, and understood something I'd been avoiding. She didn't see me as a partner anymore. I was a fixture. A routine. Something stable that didn't require attention or care. I showered, dressed, and moved through the house slowly, deliberately. There was no rush. No panic. Just decisions lining up one after another, calm and heavy. I packed a small bag. Nothing dramatic. Just the essentials. Wallet. Keys. A few clothes. The things you take when you don't plan on coming back that night. When I walked past her again, she glanced at the bag and frowned slightly, confused more than concerned. "Where are you going?" she asked. I met her eyes, and for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel the urge to explain myself. "I'm leaving," I said. Not loudly. Not accusingly. Just stating a fact. She laughed softly at first like she thought I was joking, then stopped when she realized I wasn't smiling. "Over one night?" she asked, her tone shifting, defensive now. I shook my head. "No," I said. "Over 1,000 nights that felt just like it." That was when the silence returned, thicker than before. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. I didn't wait for it. I picked up my bag, walked to the door, and paused with my hand on the handle. I didn't hate her. I still don't. This wasn't punishment. It wasn't revenge. It was recognition. Love can survive arguments. It can survive distance. What it can't survive is indifference. And indifference had been sitting between us for a long time, quietly convincing me to accept less than I deserved. As I stepped outside, the air felt colder than I expected, sharp and clean. I took a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding and closed the door behind me. For the first time in years, the quiet didn't feel lonely. It felt honest,